Hey friends, and welcome back to English Podcast for Listening and Speaking. It's so lovely to have you join me again, or perhaps for the very first time. Here, our journey together is all about finding a gentle path to English. We're not rushing, we're not pushing. Instead, we're exploring the language through stories, through shared reflections, and through calm moments of understanding. Think of this as your quiet space, a place where you can simply listen, absorb, and slowly, comfortably, build your confidence in English. We believe that learning can be a soothing experience, like a warm cup of tea on a quiet afternoon. It's about letting the words settle in, feeling their rhythm, and discovering your own voice without any pressure. Our aim is to make English feel less like a challenge and more like a warm, familiar friend. If, as you listen today, you find that this episode brings you a little bit of comfort or helps you understand English just a little more clearly, I would be so grateful if you took a moment to like the episode, subscribe to the podcast, or perhaps even leave a kind comment. Your support truly helps us reach more learners who are looking for this gentle way to connect with English. Thank you for being here. Now, get comfortable. Maybe pour yourself a cup of warm tea, or perhaps just settle into your favorite chair. Take a slow, gentle breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let's begin. Today, we're going to talk about something deeply personal. Something we all long for in life, especially when we're stepping into new territory. Comfort. Not just the comfort of a soft blanket or a warm drink, but the profound sense of ease and belonging that comes from feeling truly comfortable with something or even someone. And specifically, we're going to explore what it means to get comfortable with English and comfort itself. For a long time, I used to think that comfort was a destination. You work hard, you achieve something, and then finally, you arrive at comfort. But through my own journey with learning, and even just living life, I've started to see comfort differently. It's not a place you arrive at. It's a feeling you cultivate along the way. It's about making peace with the journey, with the process, with the imperfections. I remember when I first started learning to play the piano. For weeks, maybe even months, my fingers felt stiff, awkward. Every note I played sounded disconnected, like individual raindrops rather than a flowing melody. I was constantly looking at the keys, at the music sheet, feeling utterly uncomfortable. My mind raced, trying to remember where my fingers should go, how hard to press, what the rhythm was. There was no ease, no flow. It felt like a constant battle and certainly not a comforting experience. But then, little by little, something began to shift. It wasn't that I suddenly became perfect. Far from it. But I started to allow myself to make mistakes. I allowed myself to play a wrong note and just keep going. I started to notice the feeling of the keys under my fingers, the subtle vibrations. I focused less on perfection and more on the simple act of trying. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, a sense of comfort began to emerge. My fingers found their way a little more naturally. The notes started to connect. And even though I was still learning, the anxiety started to fade. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about being present and accepting the present. Learning English can often feel a lot like those first days at the piano. There's that initial stiffness, that feeling of being awkward with words, of searching for the right phrase, of stumbling over pronunciation. You might feel a pang of discomfort when you want to express something important, but the words just won't come out the way you want them to. Or perhaps you feel shy, worried about making a mistake, and so you hold back, even when you have something to say. This is a very common experience, and it's deeply human. We all want to feel competent, capable, and at ease. But true comfort in English, just like true comfort in playing an instrument or pursuing any new skill, doesn't always come from knowing every single word or mastering every single grammar rule perfectly. It comes from the willingness to be imperfect, to practice with patience, and to allow yourself to simply be in the process. Today, our goal is to gently explore how we can cultivate that feeling of comfort, that sense of ease, as we navigate the beautiful journey of learning English. We'll talk about how small, consistent actions can lead to profound shifts in how you feel about your English, and how embracing a little bit of imperfection can open the door to a lot more fluency. So, let's settle in, breathe deeply, and begin this gentle exploration of comfort and English together. As we continue this gentle exploration, I want to introduce you to a few words and phrases that can help us talk about this journey of comfort and confidence in English. These aren't just definitions, they're little stepping stones to help you describe your own feelings and experiences as you learn and grow. The first phrase is at ease. Think about that feeling of putting on your most comfortable clothes or sitting in your favorite spot with a warm drink. When you feel at ease, you feel relaxed, comfortable, and without worry. It's the opposite of feeling tense or nervous. Perhaps you're starting to feel more at ease when listening to English podcasts, even if speaking still feels a little challenging. Let's say that phrase together, slowly. At ease. Try it yourself. Imagine that feeling of complete relaxation. For example, when Maria, who we'll talk about later, first arrived in England, she didn't feel at ease at all. But after a few months, she started to feel much more at ease with the language, understanding conversations around her without constantly translating. Or, I might say, I don't feel completely at ease speaking about this topic yet, but I'm working on it. It's a beautiful phrase to describe that gentle shift from discomfort to comfort. Next, we have the phrasal verb to settle in. We just talked about settling into your chair or with your tea, but to settle in also means to become familiar with a new place or situation and to feel comfortable and happy there. It's that process of adjustment, of finding your rhythm. Like when you move to a new home and slowly, piece by piece, you unpack, arrange your things, and begin to feel like it's truly yours. You are settling in. Let's say this one slowly. To settle in. Try it. Think about a time you had to adjust to something new. For instance, when you start learning English, you might feel like you're in a new country, linguistically speaking. It takes time to settle in. You slowly learn the customs, the sounds, the patterns. It took me a few weeks to settle into my new English class, but now I feel much more comfortable. Or, she's still settling into life abroad, but she's starting to make friends and feel more comfortable. It's a journey, not a switch. Another very useful phrase, especially for learners, is to get the hang of something. This means to learn how to do something, especially something that isn't immediately easy or obvious. It suggests a process of practice and gradual understanding until you feel a certain competence. Like when I was learning the piano, it took a long time to get the hang of coordinating both hands. Let's say this phrase slowly and clearly. To get the hang of something. Say it aloud. Perhaps you're finding it difficult to understand fast-paced conversations, but you know that with more listening practice, you'll slowly get the hang of it. Or, I'm starting to get the hang of using these new English expressions in my daily conversations. It's about patience and persistence, knowing that understanding and fluency will come with time and consistent effort. It's that moment when something clicks and you realize you can do it. And speaking of effort and patience, let's talk about the word embrace. To embrace something means to accept it willingly and enthusiastically, often something that might initially seem difficult or challenging. It's about opening your arms and your mind to it. In our context today, it's about embracing the learning process, embracing imperfection, and even embracing discomfort as a part of growth. Let's try this word. Embrace. Listen to the sound, embrace. Try saying it yourself. Instead of fighting against mistakes, we can choose to embrace them as learning opportunities. Instead of waiting to be perfect, we can embrace the journey of learning English right where we are. She decided to embrace the challenge of learning a new language, even though it felt overwhelming at times. Or, if you can embrace imperfection, your learning will feel much lighter and more enjoyable. It shifts your perspective from struggle to acceptance, which in turn fosters comfort. Now let's gently touch upon a common experience. To stumble over words. This phrase means to make a mistake or hesitate awkwardly when speaking. It's that moment when your tongue gets tied, or you can't quite find the right word, and the flow of your speech is broken. It's something almost every language learner experiences, and it's perfectly normal. Let's try saying this phrase slowly. To stumble over words. Say it. Can you feel how the phrase itself embodies the feeling? When you're learning, it's natural to stumble over words sometimes, especially when you're trying to express complex ideas. The key is not to let it stop you. Even after years of speaking English, I still sometimes stumble over words when I'm tired. Or, don't worry if you stumble over a few words. Just keep going. It's part of the process. It's about acknowledging those moments without letting them define your confidence. Finally, a beautiful phrase for growth and self-expression. To find your voice. This means to develop your own unique way of expressing yourself, your thoughts, and your feelings, especially in a way that feels authentic and confident. It's about moving beyond just repeating phrases to truly owning your words. It's when your personality starts to shine through your English. Let's say this phrase slowly. To find your voice. Try to feel it as you say it. Perhaps you've felt that when writing, or when you've had a conversation where the words just flowed naturally. After practicing for a long time, she finally felt like she was finding her voice in English. Or, don't rush. Take your time to experiment with the language, and you will eventually find your voice. It's a process of internalizing the language so deeply that it becomes an extension of who you are, allowing you to truly feel comfortable in your English expression. These words, at ease, to settle in, to get the hang of something, to embrace, to stumble over words, and to find your voice, they aren't just vocabulary. They are tools to help you articulate your own journey, to understand the different stages of comfort and confidence in English. Remember, it's a gentle unfolding, not a sudden transformation. As we delve deeper into this gentle journey, I want us to consider how we talk about our experiences, especially those moments when we've found comfort or when we've gradually become more at ease. Language isn't just about words. It's about how we arrange them to paint a picture of time, of change, and of feeling. Today, I want to softly explore two ways we do this. By talking about things that have happened over a period, and by talking about specific moments in the past. Let's begin with something called the present perfect. Don't let the name sound intimidating. It's simply a beautiful way to talk about experiences that started in the past and continue to have a connection to now, or to describe something that has happened at some point in your life up to this very moment. Think of it as a bridge from yesterday to today. For example, I might say, I've always loved walking through quiet streets in the early morning. This means it's a love that began in the past and continues to be true. Or, I've felt much more at ease with English lately, especially when listening to podcasts like this one. This isn't about a single moment, but a feeling that has grown over time and is true right now. Perhaps you can relate. Have you ever felt that way about something? Maybe you've listened to this podcast for several weeks now, and you've noticed your understanding growing. You could say, I have listened to this podcast many times, and I have definitely improved my listening skills. Or, thinking about our example from earlier, Maria, she has practiced her English daily, and because of that, she has become so much more at ease speaking to others. The present perfect helps us connect her consistent effort in the past to her current comfort and confidence. It highlights the ongoing journey, the gradual accumulation of experience. Now, let's gently shift to the simple past. This is for those specific completed moments in time, those distinct steps on our path to comfort. It's like pointing to a photograph in your memory. For example, Maria arrived in England last year. That was a specific moment. She felt very nervous on that first day. That was a specific feeling at a specific time. We use the simple past for these clear, finished actions. She arrived in England. She felt nervous. Think about Luca. He began reading aloud. That was a specific action. He started with simple stories, and he noticed a change. He started reading aloud, and he felt a shift in his pronunciation. These are moments, actions that happened and are now complete. Another example. Last month, I had a conversation in English with a stranger, and I didn't stumble over my words as much as I expected. That was a specific event, a moment of small triumph. The simple past helps us anchor these moments, to remember where we've been. So, you see how these two tenses, the present perfect and the simple past, gently weave together to tell our story of comfort and learning. We use the simple past to describe those specific instances. I took a big step last week when I spoke English for 30 minutes straight. And we use the present perfect to talk about the ongoing impact or the accumulated experience. Since then, I have felt much more confident in my speaking ability. Or, I have learned so much since I started reading aloud every day. It's about reflecting on where you've been and how far you've come. You have embarked on this journey, and you have taken many small, brave steps. Perhaps yesterday you tried to express a complex idea and you stumbled over a few words. That's a past event. But today, you have embraced the challenge and you have continued to practice, building your confidence. These grammar patterns aren't just rules, they are tools for expressing your unique story of growth and finding comfort in English. Now, after gently exploring how we talk about our past and our ongoing experiences, it's time to softly bring these ideas into your own voice. This is where we take those words and grammar patterns and make them truly yours, allowing you to find comfort in expressing yourself. I'll offer some sentences, and I invite you, if you feel comfortable, to simply repeat them after me, slowly, allowing the sounds to flow. Remember, there's no pressure, just a calm space for practice. Let's begin with sentences that use the present perfect, talking about experiences that have built up over time, leading to more comfort. Repeat after me. I have felt much more at ease with English lately. I have felt much more at ease with English lately. She has truly embraced the process of learning. She has truly embraced the process of learning. We have discovered new ways to feel comfortable with grammar. We have discovered new ways to feel comfortable with grammar. Now, let's practice with the simple past, focusing on specific moments that contributed to your journey of comfort and confidence. Repeat after me. Yesterday, I understood almost every word of an English song. Yesterday, I understood almost every word of an English song. Last week, I felt a surge of confidence during my English class. Last week, I felt a surge of confidence during my English class. He bravely spoke English for the first time in a real conversation. He bravely spoke English for the first time in a real conversation. Beautiful. Each repetition is a tiny step forward, a gentle whisper of progress. Now, I want to offer you a few soft prompts, not for you to speak aloud necessarily, but to simply think about, or perhaps to answer quietly in your mind. These are invitations to reflect on your own journey using the English we've explored today. Consider this. Think about a time recently when you felt a little more comfortable with English than usual. What happened? Take a quiet moment to reflect. Perhaps you can form a simple sentence in your mind using the simple past. For example, I felt comfortable when I watched a movie without subtitles. Or, I felt confident when I understood a difficult article. Another thought to ponder. What is one thing you have consistently done to improve your English that has helped you feel more at ease? This is a beautiful opportunity to use the present perfect. Maybe I have practiced reading aloud every day, and it has made me feel more confident. Or, I have listened to this podcast regularly, and my understanding has grown. And one more gentle question. How has your relationship with learning English changed over time, making you feel more comfortable? Perhaps you've embraced imperfection or discovered new joyful ways to immerse yourself. You might think, I have learned to embrace my mistakes, and now I feel less nervous. Or, I have found resources that make learning truly enjoyable. These silent reflections are incredibly powerful. They help you connect the language to your own life, making it personal and meaningful. If you find yourself enjoying this quiet contemplation, I gently encourage you to try journaling in English. Take a few minutes each day, or a few times a week, to write down your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences. You don't need perfect grammar or vocabulary. Just let your thoughts flow onto the page. It's a wonderful way to practice expressing yourself, to solidify what you've learned, and to build a beautiful, comfortable relationship with English. It's your own private space to find your unique voice, one gentle word at a time. As we gently bring our time together to a close today, let's take a quiet breath and just sit with the feeling of what we've explored. We've talked about finding comfort in English, not just as a language, but as a space where you can truly be yourself, where your voice feels at ease. Remember that beautiful idea of getting comfortable with English and comfort itself? It's a journey, not a destination. It's in those quiet moments when you understand a new word, or when you bravely try to form a sentence, even if it feels a little wobbly at first. Each gentle effort, each small step, is building your comfort, piece by piece. We talked about how consistency over intensity is the key. How those little daily moments of engaging with English add up to something truly significant. It's like tending a garden. You nurture it bit by bit, and slowly, beautifully, it grows. And that comfort you feel is the flourishing of that garden within you. The aim is not perfection, but connection. It's about letting go of the pressure and simply allowing yourself to be present with the language. Just as you might find comfort in a warm cup of tea on a quiet afternoon, I hope you are slowly discovering that same sense of calm and ease within your English learning journey. If this time together has helped you feel a little more confident, a little more at ease with English today, I would be so grateful if you would consider sharing it with someone else who is also learning. Perhaps a friend, a family member, or anyone you know who might benefit from a gentle space to practice and grow. Until next time, please take care of yourself and keep learning, one comfortable breath at a time.